A very good evening to everybody online right now in the session, as well as all those who are watching the recording. Good day to you, depending on the time zone you are in. Well, welcome to a Comfortably Uncomfortable with Coach Hemant, a panel discussion series which explores the future of work. The future of work has been set to change. It's already, the wheels are in motion, things have begun to change. But a drastic change is about to come, I think, triggered by the events of the last 3 years. 3 years ago, we were hit by COVID. It changed our perception of how work is done. The world, which knew remote working could work, suddenly was forced into remote working. And we realized that of all the perceptions against remote working, things were okay. We did okay. Work still happened, meetings still happened, business deals still got cracked, things still got delivered. And of course, now we are being asked to go back to work. And of course, 2023, January 2023, suddenly got ChatGPT to become the hottest topic of conversation. And while ChatGPT may not be the hottest topic today, AI still is. You put together remote working, you put together AI and its impact on your work. And the future seems pretty unpredictable. And that's what the focus of this whole panel discussion series is, to explore the future of work. Today, what we are taking up is a slice of that. What we are looking at is how the landscape of customer experience is changing. The way the customer experiences your product, your service, you as an entity, you as a business, that has changed constantly over the past few decades. And the change has been far more rapid in the recent years. How is that going to affect the future of work? How is that going to shape the future of work? And that is going to be our focus of conversation today. As usual, we have got some fantastic panelists on board to explore that. Let me introduce them one by one. For convenience, I'll simply go into the alphabetic order. So first of all, we have got Ritesh. Ritesh, welcome to the panel.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Hemant. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. So let me tell you about Ritesh. Ritesh Mohan, pretty much known in our circles as Retail Ritesh, is an expert with over 24 years of experience in fashion retail and beauty brands in the Gulf countries, as well as in India. He co-founded Aadhaar Retail Accelerator for beauty brands in January 2023, enabling international brands to enter the UAE market through physical stores. He operates 2 stores currently and has access to over 100 stores. Passionate content creator with a huge fan following of retail professionals on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook groups. He's also the author of 2 fantastic books, Simplifying Retail and How to Be a Shark Salesman. That's Retail Ritesh for you, gentlemen and ladies. Welcome, Ritesh. Welcome, Ritesh, to the panel. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Hemant bhai. Thank you.
Well, next we have got Samir Kapoor. He's currently the key account director, financial services at a leading CRM company. He has got 2 decades of experience of leading teams in engaging and setting the vision with the CXOs in their organizational digital transformation journey. He's a passionate enterprise sales professional who is at the forefront of leading and winning transformation projects and becoming a trusted advisor to CXOs in large banks, financial services companies in India. He's passionate about mentoring, leadership, customer success, and customer experiences with digital transformation. Thank you, Samir, for being with us.
Thank you, Hemant. I look forward to the interaction today. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And we have got Vinod. Vinod Gudivada. He's currently the head of Martech capability at Blend 360 India to help brands adapt AI-driven marketing platforms with class of human touch and intelligence for an exclusive customer experience. He's customer and data obsessed. He has over 2 decades of experience in digital transformations initiatives and has helped more than 35 brands across North America and Europe to leverage their biggest assets, people and data, to build operational efficiencies and create compelling customer experience standards to stay differentiated from their customers. Thank you, Vinod, for joining us in today's panel.
Thank you, Hemant. Pleasure to be part of this discussion. Looking forward.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, our panel discussion begins with just setting the stage. I talked about the changing landscape of customer experience. Let's spend a few minutes exploring what customer experience are we talking about? How is that landscape changing? And how is that expectation versus delivery of customer experience changing? Let's go to retail Ritesh. I'm going to fumble on this again and again. You are good at saying this. I'm still getting a hang of it. So Ritesh, what according to you is this changing landscape? How is this entire customer experience journey changing?
Hemant bhai, to answer this question, let me take you through the evolution of customer journey, our customer experience or customer service as we call it, and how it evolved. So I'll start with, say, in 1980s, it used to be like a seller's market. I'm talking from a girl's perspective, wherein you order a container load of goods, merchandise, and you used to sell easily without giving any discounts or markdowns, nothing. It used to just sell. Then came competition. And then the retailers, I'm speaking from the retail perspective, retailers started finding it difficult to sell a whole container in full margin. Hence, the concept of sales promotions came in. We had 30% discount, 50% discount, 75 end of the season sale, blah, blah, blah thing came in. And it then went on since the competition became really complex. The retailers saw now the only two ways to survive. One is building top of the mind recall and creating something called personalization. When you talk about personalization, came the concept of loyalty programs. And everybody came up with a loyalty program. You know, you spend $100, you get $5 to 100 points, which is equal to $3 worth of redemption value. Now, since everybody came up with loyalty programs, loyalty program became a discounting tool. And it does not excite the customer. Customer, in the meantime, got spoiled with choices, spoiled with offers. He became a deal hunter or bargain seeker. And now the challenge came how to, since the loyalty is not working, what to go do ahead. Came the concept of hyper personalization with the advent of artificial intelligence. Then the concept of hyper personalization, just to explain it, what does it mean for the audience sake is, suppose Hemant buys book from Amazon. And so what does Hemant leaves the cookie with Amazon is that he shows or tells Amazon that he has an affinity towards management books. He has an affinity towards certain authors because he's browsing different options of the books. He shows his price preferences, what books, maybe $100, $20, $30. So he shows his price preferences. And lastly, he also gives his buying preference in terms of what time of the day he's buying. Is he clicking it during the daytime, afternoon time, evening, or even night time before he goes to sleep? So all this world has, we human beings have made this world more complex. We have created troubles for ourselves. And hence this topic of this discussion today is what to do in the changing landscape. So that's my take on it to answer. Yes, the entire evolution is changing. Today, the customer has become, we all know he was a king from ages and ages back, but today he has become much more demanding. He wants everything. Freebie doesn't excite him. So that's what is changing when I talk from the retail perspective.
Fantastic, fantastic. I think it's a very interesting insight. The whole journey that you took us through, the way the customer has been thinking and their experience has been changing from paying for the full price of an item where a discount wouldn't even cross a person's mind, to the point where we are constantly hunting for discounts. We are comparing sites, we are comparing stores, looking for where things are available at the cheapest price. And then, of course, we are also waiting for the season to come in where everybody will be throwing in discounts. Case in point, of course, in Dubai, we have seen it goes from 30, then 60, and then at least twice in a year, we have the 90% sale also happening, the
Exactly.
big day. So
Yes.
amazing. And interesting thing you mentioned about the data which is being captured. The amount of data which we share unknowingly with an Amazon or any online player when we are shopping is mind-boggling. And the kind of data analytics which can be run on it, with, of course, now AI, the kind of inferences that can be drawn from that data about us as an individual, not just as a generic mass or a generic target audience, a TG. But now organizations can pinpoint and focus and target an individual for their choices and for their habits.
Absolutely.
Big
Absolutely
bold.
right, Hemant, right? In fact, there is a case study which is the audience can browse on Google. It's by Target store in US. What they found out, a woman customer is pregnant even before her family knew. How they did it is through data analytics, because all this year she was buying certain kind of skincare which was fragrance oriented, and suddenly she changed to a non-fragrant skincare which does not have any kind of a fragrance or a scent, because during once you are pregnant in early days of pregnancy you get that nausea feeling, so with the different kind of fragrances coming out, that
Yes.
triggered the Target store and retail analytics saying that the customer is pregnant. Please start targeting her with baby care products, how parenting tips, all those things to, and that's how the retailer knew before her family knew that she's pregnant.
Okay, that's a very interesting case study. Well, let's move on to Samir. Your thoughts on the changing landscape of customer experience.
Sure. So Hemant, I think I would like to divide this customer experience into two parts. One is, organizations also treat their employees as their customers. And then obviously the external is the customer as well. So I was in an organization which openly said that for them, employee first, right? And customer second. So what's happened over the period of time is that, employees also are demanding on-time service. They're also demanding that their grievances are heard. They're also demanding tools and productivity tools for them to be more productive, right? So, and this has got accentuated due to COVID and work from home environment, right? And companies were forced to think that way, right? And hence, people like us and some of the panelists might agree that the environment for employees has also changed, and hence, for example, earlier I used to go to the HR if my some of my expense reimbursement was stuck, but right now when I put in a claim, I get an SLA that this will get addressed in this point of time, and I also get a person who will handle this request. So that's absolutely tremendous leap in experiencing or the customer experience for the employees internally. Externally, Hemant, what's happening is that we have something called Uberization of the customer, right, experience. So in the sense that what people are saying is that if you can order a taxi on your phone, one or two other things, right? So people of our generation and younger, they're not going to the banks, for example, right? They want anywhere banking, while people elder to us and our parents and all, they wanted to go physically to the branch, right? So and then there's a whole myriad of services which are now moving to online, and the whole focus is on customer experience because of the fact that that is becoming a big differentiator for companies to have one-to-one relationships, right, with the customer, understand the customer as an individual, and thereby be able to better upsell and cross-sell. And the third point, Hemant, is that even the government services have gone through a tremendous leap, right? In my earlier days when I was younger, I remember I applied for a passport. I went there, right? And all that. But have you recently applied for passport, Hemant? Recently, India, the passport seva kendra and the whole passport supply chain from applying to getting the passport is tremendously transformed, and that is an absolutely wow customer experience. And I would like to end by the fact that COVID was hit people very hard, but in India, right? I have my brother in London. When they went for the COVID vaccine, they got a printout and it was handwritten. Over here, the moment we got a vaccine and exited the nursing home or the hospital, we got literally a certificate on our mobile. So that's the wow of the customer experience, and I think it's only going to get even more and more interesting for all of us as individuals and as customers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rightly said, Samir. The way technology is impacting, the way even the whole thinking process is evolving in terms of how the customer should be experiencing the product, service, etc. It's a very interesting insight. In fact, there have been a lot of conversations where you hear people talking about design thinking in while discussing customer experience journey design itself. So a lot more attention is being paid. I think we have come a long way from customer delight, customer ecstasy. Now, I hardly hear those terms because everybody is talking about the entire customer experience, which is not a moment of time, but start to end. What are the different touch points? How do we influence them? And even the way customer experience is being looked at, the span of time, when does it start, when does it end, that entire perspective also is changing, which is also driving a lot of what an organization does. Well, before I move on to Vinod to give his perspective, let me just quickly welcome once again all the audience members who are there. Thank you for joining us today and contributing to the conversation. And I'll tell you how. If during the conversation you have a thought, you have a comment, please feel free to share it in the chat box. If you have a question, please feel free to drop it in the chat box. Right now, you will not be able to unmute yourself. That's just to kind of retain the space and the pace and speed of the conversation. We will have a question answer round at the end, Q&A. So then you all will be able to unmute and I will start picking up questions from the chat box. And yes, if you have a comment based on anything our panelists are saying, feel free to express that. We might just be including that in the conversation which is ongoing. If there is a question in there, might try and answer it on the go, or we'll pick it up at the end. So thank you for joining in. And over to you, Vinod, for your thoughts and views on the changing landscape of customer experience.
Yeah, thank you. So whatever points Ritesh and Samir had covered, I want to extend it even a little further. First, for example, we cannot call customers anymore consumers. They are becoming like contributors. What I meant by contributors is they want to share when they have gotten the best experience from any product or service. With the social media and a lot of awareness and the visibility that they are getting, they want to share, hey, this is the best restaurant I visited. This is where I'm getting a lot of new dresses, new designs, correct? So they want to be in the game, in the thick of everything that is happening. They're not just being loyal to a specific brand, but wherever they get the best, they want to latch onto it and they want to be the first ones to exhibit that as well, right? And if you take, if I go back to the evolution, so first it was the visibility. When the print media was the main source of distribution, where marketers were using the newspapers to share, then came the radio and television, where the audibility also came into picture. Now it has evolved into a lot more very intense. Like they want to be in middle of a scenario, which is like augmented reality or virtual reality, or otherwise called metaverse, right? They want to experience it before buying certain things, or they want to look at themselves in a specific situation. So the evolution is really mind-boggling. they want to really have beyond the words and the scenes, they want to be in thick of the action. So what I see here is, when I take customer, I myself consider that I am a customer, right? I am a customer of many of the suppliers. What do I want? Why should I want to go back to the same vendor or a supplier? What is it? Because when I take an app, I can, without any interaction with a human, I can place an order. But why am I going to a specific store? I really want to get that experience. They are really looking at, okay, can I get a human interaction? Because anything artificial or non-interactive, I can take care on my mobile. But when I want to go to a store, I want to be compelled to go to a certain store, right? It's all about the experience. So I look at it like beyond audibility, visibility, it's their sentiment, sense gratification that they are looking at as the new evolution of customer experience. Okay, you're on mute.
Absolutely, absolutely. Fantastic, Vinod. I think you extended the idea of the customer experience significantly. And while we were talking about it, I also realized that the customer experience is no longer limited to the time when the customer is actually using your products or services. The whole customer experience journey has started pretty much from the point where the customer was exposed to your brand communication. Whether it is an advertisement, whether it's a celebrity talking about your brand, whether it's a hoarding on the road, every impression the brand makes on an individual is now pretty much the part of the customer journey. The first inquiry, the first visit to a website, the first visit to the store, the customer journey has already begun. In fact, if I am walking in a mall and I haven't even entered a particular store and just passing by, the customer journey has begun. And which is why there is so much of conversation, thought, almost research being done on what the window display should be for a retail store. It matters so much because it is the customer journey which you are triggering by doing that. So amazing insights. Fantastic. So audiences, you have heard all the three panelists talk about the changing perspective and the changing landscape of the customer experience, how the customer experience is changing, and you got flavors on both sides of the table. You got flavor from the customer's perspective. Their expectations are increasing. They are getting a lot more. And of course, from the organizations also, organizations are evolving to deliver on that customer experience. We'll take this conversation forward because all this evolution comes with its own sense of challenges, and challenges for the organizations, for the businesses to deliver on the customer experience. So my next question to all the three panelists is going to be that with all this changing landscape of the customer experience, what are the challenges that the businesses are facing, right? Businesses, organizations, leaders in those businesses are facing to meet these to fulfill this changing landscape. So again, we'll begin with Ritesh.
Hemant, very good question. In fact, the challenges which I feel every business is facing, irrespective of the genre, is how to acquire customer and how to make that customer shop or buy again and again. This is the whole crux of a business. All businesses starts with the same motive, but this has become a real challenge. Why I say so? Because first of all, your customer acquisition cost has gone up, your digital ad spend has gone up, loyalty has become a myth. No customer is loyal to you today. They see a 20% discount somewhere else, they will jump, they will switch their loyalty. So that's a myth completely. Third part is the lifetime value. For any business, we require what? Customer acquisition cost we see, and the lifetime value, which is how long the customer is going to utilize those services. That lifetime value has also gone down. So it's a catch-22 situation for the businesses, especially business heads and the CEOs. Ki kare to kare kya? And what should we do if I have to translate it in English? And it's like a situation wherein plus your cost of overheads are increasing. Anything we talk about metaverse, you talk about artificial intelligence, you talk about any technology tool, it is capital intensive. Okay, and if you are a retailer, say with a say a 40, 50, 100 kind of a store retail footprint, then that cost is multiplied. I mean, and that's hence your cost of contribution or your contribution margin is going down. Whatever the retail you're making in the end, net profit is all decreasing because your overheads are increasing. Simultaneously, retail is a very capital intensive sector, wherein you have high manpower cost, you have high rentals, you have even with the e-commerce, even the e-commerce people or players are now coming to a physical store for the same reason, because they find it's becoming highly unviable for them to acquire customers online. So they want to use their physical stores to acquire customers, because the customers, from a physical stores have a longer LTV or, the lifetime value. So that's how the lot of D2C brands which started as a native digitally. For example, if I have to say, Lenskart, for example, is one of the examples wherein they have adopted omni-channel kind of a retailing. So the omni-channel is a very simple word, but that omni, it cost capital, and that becomes the whole retail business. So ultimately, who pays? Customer pays. Retailer is not going to put the money from his pocket to pay. Yes, when that example Samir Bhai had given was of vaccine, COVID vaccine, it's the highly subsidized vaccine which was given by the government, and the major cost bearer was the government of India. The technology cost, everything was subsidized, but it was not subsidized by the industry, it was subsidized by the government. So somebody really got paid for that service which they had provided. So the challenges is, the basic challenge of a business is how to acquire customer in minimum cost, how to make the customer stay with us in a minimum cost, and how to make the customer shop and shop again, so that there is a repeat purchases and the business cycle keeps on continuing. So that is the crux of the challenge line.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree that the sheer timelines of it have become very, very challenging. In fact, while you were talking about it, I could think of Amazon as a player. We saw the 3-4 day delivery. I think it was a week-long delivery. Then it became 3-4 days. Then they say you'll get next day delivery. And people were amazed. Oh, I can order today and tomorrow I'll get it. Fantastic. And then, of course, you have 1 day delivery, the same day delivery. Order in the morning half, and by evening you have the product in your hand. And people were delighted with it. Past 3 years, we saw it going further. We went to 4-hour delivery, then 1-hour delivery, 20 minutes delivery. And I think some of us might have actually experienced the 10-minute delivery, which was in pretty vogue last 2 years. And we realized that all that is, I mean, it is all coming at a significant cost, and it builds up. No customer is ready to pay that high or a significant cost. So somebody was footing that bill. All those startups who were aiming to capture customers by the 10-minute delivery were footing the bill in the hope that it will become a habit and then people will be ready for it. But it became unsustainable. And most of those players have now withdrawn the 10-minute, 20-minute delivery kind of timelines. A few hours, yes. But again, that has come at the cost of having those small fulfillment stores all across the city fulfilling it. So, yes, I mean, it's a challenge. It becomes a supply chain nightmare to service your customer with those kind of delivery promises. And Ritesh, you are in retail. I spent a few years in the supply chain team of a very large retailer. I have seen those challenges upfront as to pick one T-shirt and send it out of the warehouse so that it can be given to your delivery partner who will then deliver it to the person. It's a humongous amount of activity to find that one T-shirt in the thousands of T-shirts you already have in place. So yes, 10-minute delivery, definitely a very cost-intensive thing. And with that, let me go to Samir, your perception or your points on the challenges of the changing customer experience.
Well, so thanks, Ritesh, for some really relevant points which I can relate to as being a consumer and going to retail shops myself. And thanks, Hemant, for summing it up. So I think in the industry, I am working for a large leading CRM company. I often meet customers, that is B2B customers, and they say, Samir, I'm just not able to get one view of my customer, right? So I recently went to a leading life insurance company, and he said, see, Samir, this is the newspaper, and today we came out with the advertisement, and it says that you can contact us by WhatsApp, you can contact us by SMS, you can call us. He said, but all three channels, there is no linkages, right? So what communication the WhatsApp channel has, or the SMS, or the call center, or even physical visiting the store, is there's we just cannot get one view of the customer, right? Another one is went to a large public sector bank, and we are presenting, and the general manager, he stopped me, he said, can you do some research on our bank? And we did, right? And we did some mystery shopping. We went to the online site, and we applied for a loan, and then we went to the branch, and the branch had no clue, and the whole journey of the customer acquisition started from scratch. So basically the online thing got wasted. So these are some of the challenges which large companies are facing, and we are in the business of helping customers establish winning relationship with their customers, right? So we want the companies to be successful in their relationship with customers, right? And we like to think that technology plays a huge role in that. So that's on one side. Second is obviously, my esteemed panelist Vinod can delve more deeper into data. But someone very famous said that when a customer walks into my store, he's a data point for me, right? So that's one data point walking in. So data is the new oil, and how do you actually leverage the data to gain deeper insights? Like Hemant, you said, when you walk into a mall and you pass a store, right? That's a data point, right? There are some very futuristic companies who are actually, able to figure out that you're actually shopping for a purse for your wife, birthday, which is coming up tomorrow, and they're able to serve you an offer there and then, that in this mall there is this particular 20% off for purses, right? So that's the kind of futuristic scenario which we're moving towards. But like I said, on the data part, we know my panelists can delve deeper. But I think to sum it up, these are the challenges which organizations are facing. And maybe in the next segment, we'll talk about how to come across or how to address those challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, Samir. A very interesting thing you talked about. I mean, me being a data point for the store I am passing by. A very interesting way to look at ourselves. We often have these captchas online where we are trying to prove that we are human. But when it comes to business, we are just a data point. Human about it. Great. So, Vinod, over to you.
Thank you. So before I get into the technology, I want to have that human touch part, Hemant. One is like, people may forget what you speak, etc. But how you treat them, they will remember forever. What the businesses are forgetting and not focusing on is how are we taking care of the customers? Are they like more transactional? Because I'm going to take an example that I experienced in India. It may be applicable in other countries too. One is, no, they are more selling products than understanding what the customer is looking for. They have shut their ears basically. They just they have a goal that is set like you need to make 20% by Q1, and you need to sell all these products to your portfolio of customers, right? So that is kind of like it will push the customers out, and then they're going to start looking at other brands. And secondly, now coming to the technology where data is key. I'm very glad to see like a lot of the customers, been in the data warehousing industry for the last 20 years. I've hardly seen people focused on understanding the customer behavior. Till at least few years back, all their dashboarding and analysis were on their product performance or their people performance. Very little did they did they spend time to understand what the customers are looking for, right? I think now that there is a change, and it is a welcome change that is happening. but still it is not enough. And for example, if I take the marketing platform where the customers are going to experience about a brand before they even become a customer, is like there are about 11,000 odd products, and many brands are struggling to find which specific product or a marketing app can they leverage that will be aligned to their goal. So choosing the technology itself is a big question mark because the options are too much. And then the next point is, okay, businesses are working in silos, which means the data collection is also like not consistent. And there is a bigger challenge with the data governance and the data integration, right? And so if you look at the people, how they are being treated, how are your customer facing people being trained? Are they being empathetic with their end customers? That is a very big important step. Then the technology part. Which technology are they leveraging? Is it because the technology vendor are selling down their product into you and not really understanding what is your goal, and then we'll work with you a strategy and come up and implement it? That is not happening, because a lot of the recent experiences I have, many of them have failed implementations, and then we come in and rescue them, literally. and the most important part is a lot of the people have this assumption, if I just buy this technology, my problems are taken care of. That is absolutely not. If we may be like desperate, get the technology, but how are we going to adapt it, educate the people who are going to use the technology, make the technology work for you, right? That is a very big step. I think these are primary challenges. And another important thing that is coming up because of a lot of privacy issues that are being raised. Now we see the GDPR and other local data privacy things are coming up. Organizations need to ensure they are not leaking their customers' information, right? So this is a very big gamut of challenges that the organizations need to take care. We'll address it in the subsequent topics.
Sure. Thank you, Vinod. Thank you for bringing up IT projects. Being a management consultant, a change management consultant on IT projects for almost 2 decades, that was pretty much the story on every project. You begin a project and you enter business and you realize everybody is thinking, oh, it's an IT project. IT will take care of it. And we used to have to, I would be working as a change manager to work with the business, all the CXOs and whichever leadership we could get our hands to, and involve them into this whole conversation that it is a business project being implemented by IT, being enabled by IT. So better you take charge of the project or you won't get what you need or what you want. So you better get into the driving seat, otherwise IT will drive it and you'll just have to take what they deliver to you. So sometimes we had to play the game other way. But it's a very important thing because IT would be looked upon as the owner of projects, and hence the systems would be designed by IT in collaboration with a few people, with business not really taking ownership, and that became a big challenge. Talking about the customer journey in that context, the average user in the organization was the customer. Their journey, their experience of the software was a talking point, but not the driving point. So that made a lot of difference. Well, thank you very much. There is a question for you, Vinod, in the chat. We can take that up later on. One quick, again, reminder to all the members in the audience. Feel free to ask your questions. Feel free to express your opinion on what we are sharing. You might have a different point of view also. That's why a panel discussion is there, which we can bring in perspectives from different industries, different backgrounds. So what you see today is three different panelists from 3 different industries bringing in their perspectives. You get the retail perspective, you got the IT company, Samir brings in yet another perspective. What you get is the conversation about the customer, which is a retail customer, the customer who is also an internal customer, the employee of an organization, and a customer to a bank. All these customers, ultimately we humans, behave differently to different kind of stimulus. And that stimulus, how does an organization design that stimulus to create that entire customer journey, right? Even if you're not buying from them or using their services, are you and me still part of that customer journey? And that's where the challenges for the organizations lie. Great. Before we move on to the last question or the last segment of our panel discussion, as a small thank you to all the attendees of the panel discussion today. Me being the coach, the most valuable thing I can offer is my time. So what I have to offer to all of you is a 20-minute speed coaching session. So 20 minutes where we focus on one question, one issue, or one place in your life where you might be stuck, and a laser sharp coaching session, speed coaching session of just 20 minutes on that one topic. The link is there on the screen, also the QR code. I'll be dropping that in the chat also. You could use that to block my time to have this conversation. Okay, so let me remove that slide. I'm anyway going to post it on the chat so you could copy it from there and block your time with me. Thank you very much on that. And with that, let's move on to the last thing. We have talked about the changing landscape. We have also talked about the challenges which businesses are facing. And all the three panelists are absolutely not just future leaders, but they are leaders of today in their very own industries, in their very own organizations. So my question to them would be, what should organizations be doing to meet those challenges, to overcome those challenges, to win over the customers in spite of the challenges? So let's begin once again with Ritesh. Over to you. How do the future leaders, how do we overcome those challenges?
I mean, to answer this question, Hemant bhai, I had when I started that with a quote saying that we ourselves have made our lives complex and complicated. So the answer to your question is what future leaders need to do is the mantra which I am going to give is to simplify things. And it is the mantra is not given by me, it's given by Rudyard Kipling, the author of Jungle Book. We all grew watching Mowgli, and the Jungle Book, and Guljar Sahab had made a very nice song out of it, which said, "Jungle Jungle pata chala hai, dash पहन के फूल खिला है." I have not saying that particularly, so the answer lies in Rudyard Kipling's quote, which he said, "I always keep 6 honest men with me." Now, which are the 6 honest men? The 6 honest men are why, when, what, where, how, and who. If you now, I will explain how a business owner or a CEO can use this 6 honest men to their advantage. And this is the market segmentation given by an author of, kind of a different genre and teaching a management lesson. Now, when you decide a product, you should ask a first question, why this product? What are the underlying needs this product is going to resolve? Who are these people who would pay for this product? Where are these people? And when are you going to do the launch of the product, and how you are going to market the product? This is the entire Kotler in one sentence summarized by Rudyard Kipling. Genius, I would say, a copywriter and an author. And if you see the CEO of a retail company or any company which is customer facing, whether it is hospitality, hotels, should focus on gamification if it's a loyalty program, because there's a recent study by Accenture, the management firm, which said that 65% of the people prefer to buy from a retailer who offer personalized services. Though this sentence came out very nicely, but it's a nightmare for a CEO and an operations head to implement it. Why I say so? It's to cater to, you don't have the tools currently. So how your loyalty programs are not working. So how you will ensure the repeat purchase? You have to gamify. Some of the really foresighted retailers I would quote, like Nike. Nike had a loyalty program. They totally revamped it and make it like a gaming app. So when they launched the Nike Air, the most lightweight shoes, which gives you the comfort as if you're walking on the air, they kept a treadmill in their stores, and they asked their customer, please wear it, walk on the treadmill, and then it was on the monitor, there was a game, the moment you keep on walking, you keep on earning points, you go from one level to another level, and in the end, if you like to purchase, those points can be converted into your loyalty program, points, and then discount would be given. So that's the whole. Today, the biggest challenge also, which I didn't mention in my last question, was the biggest challenge, the target audience. The target audience today is a 3-second generation. When I say 3-second generation, is 3 seconds is what the time required to swipe up to the next post or to the next feed. So you have only 3 seconds to engage that customer. And the gamification, which artificial intelligence provides, is one of the amazing tools. Second, how you can use, or retailer can use this particular technology of metaverse and all, is by something which I call like a sentimental analysis. Now, what is sentimental analysis? Sentimental analysis is a thing which we use in fashion forecasting. Fashion forecasting, what are the trends going to come after in next summer 2024? We are planning now and purchasing the orders now. So how to ensure that what trends would be there? UCB came out with a very nice tool. UCB, as you know, the United Colors of Benetton, they have one of the finest range of different colors and t-shirts, and you name it, they have when it comes to apparels, they are the king. So how they do it? So they have came up with their indigenous kind of a program. Instead of they make a normal polo shirt or a t-shirt in different colors. They don't dye the complete yarn. They put those t-shirts, a small quantity in every store, and monitor the sale, which color is moving faster. If red is color or a baby pink is moving faster, then they dye the complete yarn with that color and then roll out the entire collection into their stores. And another way which tech-driven companies are using, especially I'll give a luxury brand called Valentino. They have launched their collection first time in Metaverse on Roblox. What they did, they created the 3D avatars in their collection, and each avatar is for sale for $1. So they are monitoring the sale, who is buying which avatar in which costume, and then they will roll out that particular collection in their stores, which is for a normal purchase. So yes, technology is, it's like, you know, when we all talk about data. Today, data is everywhere. We all are leaving data cookies everywhere on our digital platforms. But the question is, do the decision maker really know how to use that data? That is the crux of the question. And the biggest, since my friend Vinod and Samir both are into digital transformation, I'll give you one small tip. If you are a business owner and especially into retailer, and you want to ensure the digital transformation fail, I say fail, is by giving that project either to your IT head or to your finance head. That project will never see the daylight. I can give you writing on, you know, like a stamp paper, and the best way to understand consumer, we know, touch about a very nice point, is on ensuring that every key decision maker spends 20 minutes of the day on a shop floor in different locations. The moment you meet the customer, you observe who is picking what, who is picking and trying and keeping it back on the racks, tells you whether the collection is hit or miss. So, you know, going back to the foundation, going back to the basics is the crux. Or what I summarize of Jungle Book, this was written maybe 50 years old book. And what have we complicated? We have made our life miserable by adding layers and layers of technology, and we don't know how to make sense of that data.
Yes,
data is everywhere, information is everywhere, we don't know how to use.
Very true, very true. So I think, I mean, data itself by itself is a challenge as well as the solution to the problems companies and organizations are facing, whether it is retail or banking or any industry where you have got customers. It could be the Netflix, it could be the Amazon, whether you are selling a real hard touchable product or a virtual product. The consumer behavior insights is what everybody is looking at, and what most organizations are also focusing on spending on. How do we understand consumer behavior, and how do we predict consumer behavior? And then, of course, take it to how do we influence the consumer behavior to actually buy what we want them to buy. Well, Moving on to Samir, your perspectives on how do we overcome the challenges?
Right. So some lovely thoughts there, Ritesh. Thanks for that. So I think, Hemant, from a solution perspective, what I would recommend and we recommend is that for any organization, very simply, for that organization, you put first your customer in the middle, right? And then your organization, you organize your tasks, your processes backwards in that sense, right? So it's all about your customer in the middle. So it's all about getting one view of the customer. It's all about customer 360, right? So you should have a full 360 view of your customer, not only your customer, about your customer's family. For example, a bank should know, have a full customer 360 view that, for example, he's taken a personal loan. Now, does his family have they move to he's got a promotion, for example. Can they know that, right? Then can they serve him an auto loan, for example, right? So stuff like that. So it's all about getting customer 360-degree view of your customer. Some very, very interesting examples I like to share, Hemant, is I've experienced personally as well from very surprising industries. Some sectors which have been pretty much criticized. So, for example, the income tax department, right, in India, right? I file my returns sometime in middle of July, right? And I've taken a housing loan. I get certain benefit because of interest, and you will not believe, exactly in 7 days I got a refund, right? So how are they doing this? It's simply amazing. I know the technology player who's taking care of this is because of the fact they have given them cloud services. So there are three types of cloud services. One is it's all about everything as a service, right? So the customer experience, you need to be very, very agile, right? And how do you do that? You need to use the power of the cloud, right? Different facets, infrastructure as service. The first example which I was talking about is the COVID and serving, so many lakhs and millions of Indians. And that department used the hyperscalers, right, like the Amazon of the world, right, so that who could within in a matter of seconds provide data and compute, and they're able to scale up. We're in the business of providing software as a service, right? So you want software, you come, you take it as a service, and you pay and you go, right? So and now the third way which we are seeing is, I'm sure we know we'll be able to have put more light on it, is like you rightly said in the beginning, Hemant, is about GPT, right? And what's happening is AI is now actually getting infused. It was getting infused earlier as well, but now people, organizations are starting to understand it better. For example, in our organization, we're also infusing generative AI, but we have built a trust layer between the generative AI and our products, so that your data does not get exposed all the time, right? There is a level of security there. So all that is the power of AI. For example, in customer service, right? You are moving a contact center from being just a complaint and grievance management to becoming a profit center. You are able to make your contact center agent intelligent to serve options and better able to upsell and cross sell, right? Because of the fact that you are using and infusing technology in real time. So these are some of the very, very interesting solutions which we are seeing in the marketplace for delivering even more and more better customer experience. And I see this going to be an even bigger differentiator for companies to survive going forward.
Thank you, Samir. Thank you. It was good insight on how organizations are bringing together technology, consumer behavior, behavioral sciences to really put the journey together and use technology to enhance what they can deliver and what the customer can get out of the whole journey. Fantastic. Over to you, Vinod. What your perspectives?
Yeah, so from people and the scenarios, I believe Ritesh and Samir covered it very well. I want to talk about from a data standpoint with wide variety of channels and platforms where the marketing spend is happening, and also where the customers are engaging with the organizations or the brands. and the data are siloed and they have their own data structures, right? We need to have a platform that can integrate all this data into unified system. Why is it important? Because as Samir mentioned, we need to have a customer 360-degree view. You cannot have that if you do not integrate into one repository. And moreover, not every source system captures the data in a very consistent format. They have their own, the data fields to capture. Some maybe because of privacy, they hide it. You may get like an IP address related information or an email address or phone number. There can be wide variety of things. And because of these regulatory constraints, we need to ensure the data is first curated and in a safe place, right? The privacy is taken care. And recent phenomenon, I would say, like in the last 5 to 10 years, there is a new body called customer data platform, right? For example, I'm working on a very compelling platform called Amperity, which unifies whatever transactions or engagements we make, whether we reveal our entire information or very sporadic or limited information. It has about 40 different algorithms, machine learning algorithms, that runs through all the data. Whether I did a POS transaction or an online transaction, or I went to a specific purchase, all this data has been curated and it creates a unified view. And then it sends out information to downstream applications. And then, and the most important part is identifying the segmentation, where all these customers falling into place, right? So within one platform, you get to curate the data and also create segmentation, which is very critical for your outreach, right? That is from a customer data platform. I think one of the questions was, how does the data point get into information, right, to make decision making? So first, unifying the customer's data and then creating one picture, which is very essential. And if you do not have a data foundation, it's going to take years and years to get. But there are AI and ML driven platforms which does this in few months. I would start from there. And the second thing is, before we identify a technology, I think it is better to consult, probably take a service integrator, understand, hey, this is my strategy. I'm keeping my customer in the center. I want to create a technology platform that can aid in this. I'll make sure that people will learn and then deliver what is needed, but help me choose the right technology, right? That is very important. Instead of spending millions of dollars buying a technology which is of no use, work with a partner that can help you identify the right technology for your use cases. Right. Anything else? Yeah. So the Gen Z, Gen Alpha customers, I think it's all about the segmentation. Understanding who our customers are, it's a very prime, very fundamental requirement going forward. We cannot just avoid it, and choosing the right platform is going to help us.
Fantastic. Thank you, Vinod. Actually, question asked by Sachin Acharya was covered. Akshat, your question about Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and I think more alphabets to come in future. These customers are more aligned to buying products from the companies through which they can relate their stories. So it is, while we are entering into the phase where people are less and less connected humanly, but they are more and more connected virtually, people are still looking for these connections. So Ritesh, Vinod expressed his views. Ritesh and Samir, I would also ask you, what has been your experience or your thought process for the Gen Z and Gen Alpha?
To answer it, Hemant, I will go back again to the basics. People think from mind, but they buy from heart. And why storytelling is important. We all have grown up listening to our nana, nanis, and dadis stories, and we still recall. And that's where the super hit formula of an Indian movie, since you are a love movie buff yourself, Hemant, is ek tha ladka, ek thi ladki. They both met, they fell in love, they fought the opponents, the villains, and in the end, they lived happily ever after. So this is the the super hit formula of any movie, whether it is a Hollywood or Bollywood. Why it clicks is because we think from heart. We buy things. Yes, I have to buy iPhone. I'm thinking it technically that is highly superior product and technology, all that. But I want to buy iPhone is from the heart. So that's where the entire consumer behavior is. In fact, FMCG company, my favorite example is Cadbury's. They had a decline in 2000, early 2000. The chocolate consumption in India was going down. And the only way they could cover up is from a consumer insight that Indians has an appetite for having something sweet after the meal. So after meal sweet was how to place and position Cadbury as खाने के बाद कुछ मीठा हो जाए. That was the tagline and the campaign they ran for years and years, and it replaced your soft, your mishri with Cadbury chocolate. So customer segmentation definitely is required. People will continue doing business with people. Whether you call it machine learning, artificial intelligence, people will still give. You will always get your purchase order from a purchasing manager. The machine will not give you the purchase orders. So though the purchase order would be processed by the machine, but hand delivered to you by the purchasing guy. So
Very
people
true.
will continue doing business with people. Stories will always remain. They are like an evergreen formula. And the brands which are coming in need to stand for something. If it's a sustainable brand, there is a brand which in American called Alan Fisher. That designer makes everything is recycled fabric. So your old clothes, your old garments get recycled, repurposed and sold under this brand called Eileen Fisher, and she stands for sustainability. So the brand promise. What is brand ultimately? It's not, otherwise it would have become a commodity. The brand is nothing but a promise. What promise you are making to your consumer? Whether it is Tesla, which said, I will give an ecological friendly vehicle transportation system, and that's where your Tesla came in. So you need to stand, or a brands, if you have to become successful, has to stand for the promise which they make. So
Yes.
that's my take. Whether ever you call it Gen X, Gen Z, Gen D, Gen E, MTV, XL, Channel V, all that kind of a generation will keep on changing, but what will remain constant, we need to, as a business owner, need to focus on what is constant. People will love buying good quality product. No generation will love to buy a bad quality product. They want a superior quality, better technology. So that is going to remain consistent. People are going to buy or look for value for money. So if you can continue offering value for money, you have a winner at your place. People will always want, speedy delivery or, faster service. So that is consistent. People want much more personalization, which is seamless, connected, everything, all the genres, right from picking from the warehouse to reaching the door of the customer, and ultimately customer wearing it using a personal stylist recommendation. So that service is going to remain consistent. So
True.
focus. My mantra would be focus on what is going to remain consistent and not going to change. And you will have
Absolutely.
your successful business.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Samir, your thoughts.
Sure, thanks. Amazing stuff, Ritesh. So, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they are actually digital native generations, right? And they relate to digital native companies a lot more. For example, Digit, which is a online insurance buying portal, right? These generation, particularly and the young ones, they buy insurance online, right? They don't need an agent. People like me, I still need an agent to buy my insurance, right? So that's the difference. And the interesting thing, Hemant and my fellow panelists, is the interesting thing is that companies have realized that this young generation, you can call it whichever generation, are actually influencing our buying decisions, and the big ones. For example, I went to buy a television, right? I was actually sending the photographs of 2-3 brands to my two Gen Z daughters. And what they zeroed on, I bought that, right? So companies are, in fact, even the car companies are realizing that when a family is going to purchase a car, it is very, very important to somehow get a relationship or influence thing going with the Gen Z or the young child. right? Who will actually influence her father or mother to do that purchase? So companies are also doing that very, very subtly, not overtly. So these are very interesting times, as far as customer experience is concerned, right? And some very, very interesting thoughts and amazing, coach and kind of directing the whole thing. Hemant, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Samir. Thank you, Ritesh. Thank you, Vinod. It has been a lot of fun doing today's episode. Uh, Great conversations we had, great insights each one of you has shared. And I think even the audience would have not only identified uh, with the thoughts expressed, but they would have also seen some of their own thoughts about the customer journey evolving. So, thank you very much for being on board today on the panel, sharing your insights, and creating some interesting conversations in the session. At the same time, also creating, I would say, thought waves in the minds of our audiences and also all those people who are going to watch this as a recording. Uh, I hope this triggers conversations, this triggers thoughts, and you can have those conversations ongoing in your organization, in your company, within your friends, and take the customer journey evaluation, conceptualization, and design to the next level. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for being here, audiences as well as panelists. With that, we come to the close of the session. But before we formally close, I would actually like to share with everybody two small things. One, of course, a quick reminder of the laser sharp speed coaching session of 20 minutes, which I'm offering to all the attendees. At the same time, I would like to tell you what's coming up next. Next week, we have got Hariom, Newton, and Srinath on our panel discussing the impact of AI and data-driven decision making on the human element. Now, more and more decisions are being taken with the help of not just data, but being influenced significantly by AI. How is that going to impact the human element? And I refer to the human element on both sides, the ones who were taking the decisions, and the ones who will be at the receiving end of an AI taken decision making. Right? I mean, if AI begins to decide what should be the fashion for next year, we, the humans, are just going to be at the receiving end of a decision made by AI. No human has decided what the fashion next year will be. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. It's going to be an interesting exploration of what the future of AI driven and data driven decision making going to be. So thank you once again to audiences and the panelists for being here today for this very interesting conversation on the changing landscape of the customer journey and how it is going to impact the future of work. Thank you very much. That's all tonight from Comfortably Uncomfortable with Coach Hemant.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.